Let's talk about She-Hulk.
Why
Episode
don't we?
7, or as I like to call it, we ask again, where is Daredevil? Because that is very much a question that needs to be addressed. Before I give any of my opinions, I mean, I just want to ask you guys, A, have you kept up with the show, like Roland and Andrew both?
No.
And B, what have you been hearing about the show?
All I've every week I hear you complain about it more and more, and you just started with such optimism for this thing, and I said, from day one, I was like, this is not going to be good. About 2 minutes into the first episode, I go, there's just no way I'm watching every episode of this. It was hard for me to get through the first. I've heard nothing but horrible things about it from every commenter, except for some reason Rotten Tomatoes says it's certified fresh, and we got one weirdo on our Instagram being like, I like the show. Like, you're in the minority, but I guess the show is for you, but you're a weirdo. Roland?
I have not kept up with it either. I think I'm waiting until the last episode drops where I'll try to catch up with everything and have my opinion then. But I haven't been hearing
I'll
that.
do that, but I'll have a huge dose of ketamine first.
Yeah.
I mean, I was surprised that it was given a certified fresh rating, particularly considering I think they mentioned that it's off
That's putting it
several
lightly.
hundred reviews, which I was like, okay. Oh yeah, here it is. Okay. So season one specifically, I guess, no, don't want ads. Season one is got 518 critics reviews and is sitting at an 87%. The user ratings
We gotta stop
13,000.
listening to critics.
I look, I'll be honest, I don't think this show is deserving of a 36% score. I think that's too low. But I also don't
No.
think it's deserving of a 87. I'm thinking this is more somewhere in the 50 to 60 range. So I was surprised to hear that that many critics, gave it that it's such a high score that it's now certified fresh. It's the Rotten Tomatoes requirements for a TV show to be certified fresh are pretty stringent. Like you need to have a like most shows don't even get the cross the threshold of like the number of reviews you need to even be considered for that rating. So the fact that show is now certified fresh, on top of the fact that I think the audience reaction is mixed to say the least. Yeah, it is surprising, but talking
If
about
if I
this,
ate meat like this that was certified fresh, I would sue the meatpacking industry. This is not fresh at all. This is a bad show. It's irresponsible for them to say this.
Dang.
well, sorry, go ahead,
I was
Go.
just saying, dang,
Dang.
Dang.
Dang
Okay.
indeed.
Yeah, fair. That's a fair reaction.
What
Episode seven
happened?
in
Yeah,
particular, though. Let's just quickly kind of talk about what goes down here, and then I guess I'll pass my judgment on it, if you will. I
sure.
put in the graphic here, where have all the good men gone? And to me, that while obviously the show is focused on Jen Walters, I do think there is this thing in the show where every male, and we've talked about this before, but every male character is almost caricaturized, where you're not
Yeah.
seeing any kind of meaningful depth in a lot of these characters, or even like a character that you initially think, oh, they're gonna develop this into somebody who's a relatable person, like somebody who feels like you can walk up to and have a conversation with, without like making it seem like they're this one-dimensional, like person brain for the screen. Even that person then turns out to be, which there's, okay, I'll put up a quick spoiler warning. There is a so Josh, the person who Jen meets at the wedding in the last episode ends up being somebody who's sort of just uh on the ruse of trying to steal her She-Hulk blood essentially, and that's like the big twist ending of this episode, which I almost sort of saw that coming in the last episode. I'm like,
Yeah,
this show's
because all
track
men are
record
just
with
desperate to take power away from strong women.
I mean, this show's its track record with like male characters was like, I'm like, all right, I'm not buying it, Josh. Like, this is an act. But
Yeah.
anyway, so the episode kicks off with you see them, they're like they had a night together. We later find out that they slept together and all that stuff, and then he doesn't call her back. While she's anxiously waiting to get that call back, she heads out to this retreat where Blonsky's um thing that keeps him from turning into a Hulk like is malfunctioning. She gets stuck there because a man bull apparently smashes her car, and while she's there, There's a little bit of character development work happening. She comes to more of an acceptance of, hey, maybe Josh wasn't the right person for her. I mean, look, from a character development standpoint, I think the last episode and this episode have been good in giving us a reason to care for this person, like really fleshing out the character of Jen Walters. Because not only was the story and like the political messaging of the show bothering me from the beginning, and it's the narrative lack of a narrative thrust. The biggest thing that was bothering me is I just couldn't get myself to like buy like into the idea of like I need to care for Jen Walters. Like, what is her problem? She's working for one of the biggest law firms in LA. She's probably getting paid very well to do it. Now she has superpowers where like if she turns into a Hulk, she can't even get drunk, so she can just drink herself like all night long and no problems. And her biggest problem is I don't want to be a Hulk. I just want to be a normal person. It's sort of like,
Yeah.
it's not even like first world problems. Those are like first world MCU superhero problems. So it was hard to relate to her
It's
in like a
unrealistic
realistic manner.
feminist critique problems.
Right, but then like in the last couple of episodes, you start to see like they're really honing in on this idea of this person, this woman in her 30s is trying to date, and it's very hard to find someone, who's right for her, who's like likes her for who she is and not for her for being a Hulk. And so I mean so far she hasn't found anybody, but just
Shocking.
that desire and the struggle, and then the show's writers being able to kind of show that internal struggle on screen a little bit more. I think that to me has been the highlight of the last couple of episodes. But yeah, I do think, we could probably use a couple of more guys in the show who are a little more than just a caricature of what like a bad date looks like.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I don't see any signs of it improving, but you can keep hoping. And if you are another weirdo who likes the show, why don't you comment wherever? We're on Instagram and YouTube and Twitter and Twitch and all the places. So, comment and engage, because you could be the next comment of the week.